Have you read a story in the Draoithe Saga and come away with a classic case of immersion after effect? Let me guess, there are questions which remain unanswered even as the magic expanded, adding another layer to the dream. The grand desire to turn the page to discover what happened next ended with the last leaf turned. If you're asking where the remedy for the book hangover is, you know the answer: read another story. But you aren't ready for the next tale, not yet. The dust needs to settle before you pick up the next volume. So you have found your way here. You aren't alone. Even the author can't get enough. As you hear this, Ophelia writes on. But allow me to offer you a possibility, a reflection on the tale you recently finished, and a way to revisit the story to ease the story blues. Welcome to the Draoithe Saga After Party. Warning, spoiler alerts ahead. Turn back now if you wish to read the story blind.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take your source material and unearth the most important insights, surprising facts, and those satisfying aha moments. Today we're diving into a truly unique set of sources, excerpts from A Conversation with Dragons, a book by Ophelia. It's a part of a larger saga, and our mission today is to unpack a fascinating interview that gives us a direct line into the minds of some incredibly powerful mythical beings.
Yeah, what's really intriguing here is that we're not just looking at a story, we're essentially getting a behind-the-scenes look at the intricate world building, the deep character motivations, and the complex lore of a sprawling paranormal romance and urban fantasy saga. Think of it as a deep dive into the foundational elements of a truly expansive fantasy realm.
Exactly. You've shared a comprehensive cross-section of this world for us to explore. We've got an introduction to the overall Draoithe Saga, a definition of what this specific conversation with dragons is all about, character introductions for key players, and even a peek at an ancient prophecy that ties into everything, and then, the main event, transcription of the interview itself.
Right. We'll be exploring the magical world of Draoithe, understanding the unique role of its central characters, and most importantly, listening in as a powerful figure, known as the Tiger Queen, engages in a pivotal conversation with dragons to restore balance and justice in her realm. It's a fantastic example of quiet power at work.
So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's begin to uncover the layers of this fascinating dream world. Okay, so before we fully appreciate the dynamics of this dragon interview, we need to understand the rich, magical tapestry it's woven into. Let's start by setting the scene for the Draoithe Saga itself. The author describes it as a blend of paranormal romance, magical realism, and urban fantasy, creating a truly immersive dream world where myths, legends, and fairy tales walk among the strange and wonderful. Sounds like quite the escape.
It definitely is. And within this dream, there's a core mission for those who come to Draoithe. They aid in the fight to restore the magical balance of the dream, one couple at a time. This saga deeply emphasizes themes of fated mates, and it's certainly intended for a mature audience, rated 18+ with warnings for adult themes, fantasy violence, and explicit sexual situations.
Right, good to know. And the author clarifies what she means by saga, too. It's a long story of heroic achievement, a form of novel chronicling a dramatic history, which she's compartmentalized into mini-series for easier reading. That's a huge undertaking for world building.
It truly is, yeah. The saga tells the story of the founding of an immortal kingdom in the Leiriu Deal, a specific magical region established to combat those responsible for, unbalancing the magic of the dream. The central time frame is the year 0116X, predominantly set in a magical realist version of Tyler, Texas. We also see other kingdoms interacting, all working towards restoring that magical balance and bringing about the end of a figure named Peter Elliott, who seems to be a major antagonist.
What's also fascinating is how expansive this world is, beyond just the written pages. The author mentions companion materials like YouTube trailers, research videos, and vlogs. What do these add to the depth of the lore, and how do they enhance the reader's immersion in Draoithe?
Well, it suggests an incredible level of dedication to the universe, doesn't it? These companion materials aren't just promotional. They allow the author to delve deeper into the history, the cultural nuances, and maybe even the scientific magical principles of her world, providing fans with an even richer context and a more tangible sense of Draoithe as a living, breathing place. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds really immersive. Okay, now, at the heart of A Conversation with Dragons is our protagonist, Eli Miller, who comes to be known as the Tiger Queen. Her story starts quite grounded. She was a high school history teacher until she turned 30.
That's right. That's when her life took an unexpected turn. she shifted into a tiger for the first time. In this world, shifting is a powerful, often life-altering magical transformation, marking one's emergence as a supernatural being. This led her to a new start in Tyler, Texas, where she found herself woven into the fabric of the dream, destined to find her life mate and embark on a grand adventure.
And she has this amazing dual role. She's the historian for the Druid Pack, meticulously recording events, but unofficially, the dragons themselves named her the Tiger Queen of Draoithe. She's also a closet writer who wants to publish her work. Quite a mix.
Her specific mission in this source, A Conversation with Dragons, is presented as a short extra tale written in an interview style from the heroine's point of view. Eli routinely interviews the denizens to ensure accurate records, especially for events she isn't directly involved in. But, beneath the surface, she uses her unique position to accomplish the small tasks which might slip by unnoticed by her alpha mate, Luke.
Luke, the dire wolf king. Right.
Yeah, him. Her goal is ostensibly to get answers for her book and give dragons a voice, but unofficially, she has a task for the dragons of Draoithe, which ultimately reveals just how much quiet power a Tiger Queen wields. It's an interesting blend of official duty and personal agenda.
Definitely sounds like it. So who are these dragons she's interviewing? Shifting focus to the interviewees, the Grey Dragons are fascinating characters with ancient roots and deep connections to the kingdom's history.
Indeed. They were resurrected by necromancers long ago and served the Druid kings in defense of the kingdom. The source emphasizes their integral connection to ancient magic, hinting at a profound, almost primal link to the dream's magical currents.
Okay, and their story is intertwined with the very founding of this kingdom. When two key figures, Fox and Javier, swore fealty and raised Luke, who'd become the powerful dire wolf king, to an overlord position, Druid magic coalesced. This powerful magical surge built the Over-Kingdom just as it had once done in ancient Gaelic Ireland, calling existing dragons to serve the High King of the Druids.
Right, and this is where their purpose becomes even clearer. The Grey Dragons arrived at Draoithe to fulfill an ancient prophecy penned by a grief-maddened devil. Yeah, a prophecy that centrally involved dragons claiming their life mates. Now Luke, the dire wolf king, made a pivotal, perhaps unwitting decision. He barred them from entry unless they first bonded with their Valkyries to control their dangerous magic. This seemingly restrictive demand, as we'll soon discover, played a pivotal role in the unlikely king's prophecy. It hints that true power here might come from, unexpected connections.
Interesting. So we have Eli Miller, the historian and unofficial Tiger Queen, sitting down with these ancient, powerful Grey Dragons. Eli's approach is really interesting from the start. She's direct, asking, "Are you guys ready?" And she assures them it's a judgment-free zone for her book, stating she's not here in any official capacity other than that of a historian.
Right, but what's truly insightful here is the subtle contradiction. While she claims to be just a historian, the source immediately clarifies her underlying intention. Unofficially, she was the Tiger Queen of Draoithe. The dragons had named her.
Yeah.
Quote, she intended to use it, but she needed the dragons to want to take on the missions she felt needed to be completed. She felt empowered after all the adventure she had with Luke over the last year, suggesting she's, ready to leverage her influence.
Okay, so she's definitely got an angle. And their responses about magic and their Valkyrie bonds are telling. Flame, one of the dragons, says magic hindered it. Nightshade was broken, made wrong, and predisposed to running away from me.
But Ember had a completely different take, exclaiming, "It aided me. Flower is mine. She was always mine. Flower is still mine." This diversity experience is quite striking, isn't it?
Absolutely, and this leads to a surprising unanimous agreement among the dragons. Luke's demand that they claim their Valkyries, their fated mates, before joining the pack was the best decision ever.
Really? The best? Yeah. This turns the conventional wisdom of raw, independent power on its head. What does it reveal about the true source of a dragon's strength in this world that they'll only have without their mates?
That's the core insight here, I think. Their immense magical power isn't purely internal. They state, dragons only have the use of half their magic without their Valkyries. They also regain lost memories upon bonding, which is a powerful incentive. It suggests that in Draoithe, true invincibility comes not from isolation, but from the right kind of profound partnership.
And they contrast this with something called the rider system, which typically involves a dragon being forcibly controlled or, enslaved by a human rider. Ash describes it as disgusting and more like medieval torture, highlighting how Draoithe's approach allows the dragons to be men among men, rather than mere tools or beasts of burden.
Right, that makes sense. And then there's this fantastic, very humanizing detail from Lightning about sleep pants being a peculiar dragon problem when serving their Valkyries. It really adds a layer of unexpected domesticity to these powerful beings, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's those little quirks that ground the fantastical. It reminds us that even mythical creatures, when deeply bonded, navigate the everyday realities of partnership. And sometimes, that means managing accidental fires or apparently wardrobe malfunctions. It highlights the deeply personal nature of these bonds, even for dragons.
Okay, so this raises an important question about loyalty and challenging authority. When Eli asks if there's any decree Luke has made that they disagreed with, Blaze immediately brings up Amrita Sainte, a pack member whose transfer to a human hospital sparked fierce opposition. The dragons unanimously opposed Luke's idea to transfer her to a human hospital for the blind, stating, "No way was she going to be shipped off, she's part of the pack." That's pretty strong.
It is. So Eli, despite being Luke's mate, actually agreed with the dragons here. What does this reveal about her growing agency and leadership and the shifting power dynamics within this pack?
It's significant, I think. The source notes that if she'd spoken against Luke, the dragons would have threatened mutiny in her favor. This demonstrates the incredible depth of their loyalty, not just to Luke, but to Eli and to pack members in general. It shows Eli is earning their respect and trust on her own merits, not just as the Alpha's mate.
Definitely. And we also see instances where they initially disagreed with Luke, but ultimately the decisions worked out. For example, Frank Grimes becoming possessed and it working out for Cyrus. Or Luke's initial uncertainty about Miles Hansen's loyalties, which Flame believed had dragon written all over him. Lightning adds that Soleil, his Valkyrie, fixed that. Women make homes. It shows the surprising wisdom of their collective perspective and the sort of quiet influence of their life mates.
Women make homes. Interesting perspective there. And the conversation delves into past mistakes and unfinished business, too. There's the complexity of the Dross situation, Dross being a former ally who betrayed them. Flame admits, "I was furious that he hit Vadi in the head with a brick and fled Locksmaid." But that he was a traitor never sat right. They reflect on the mess they made, indicating a deeper, nuanced understanding of the situation, maybe.
Yeah, seems like it. Their stance on ongoing threats is also nuanced. Some, like Blaze, view Lucifer Leiriu as a potential ally, believing the Void likely caused that state, hinting at a tragic origin for his villainy. Others, like Char and Flame, see Bushasta as a clear enemy. But the core goal for all of them remains steadfast, restoring the balance of magic in the dream. End quote. They acknowledge erasing Peter Elliott was necessary, but Ash states, the fight has not finished, due to the power vacuum he left and the rise of small-time thugs filling that void.
Right, the fight continues. Now, this next point is crucial, because this is where Eli's true influence begins to emerge. She transitions from interviewer to commander. Smoke tells her, "My queen, you have but to speak the words, and your dragons will hunt your enemies." She then gives a direct order to hunt Leonard Stepanov, who angered more than just the dragons regarding Estelle. This is a clear display of her quiet power.
It really is. And the dragon's response is one of profound empowerment. Ash tells her, "My queen, on behalf of the dragons, we'd formally like to thank you for empowering us. If Luke Mendez granted us true freedom, Eli Miller made us truly invincible." This is followed by Eli's subtle irony. "What good is a bound dragon?" Referring not to restriction, but to the true freedom and strength found in their chosen bonds with their Valkyries. It beautifully underscores the core theme we discussed earlier about power and connection.
Yeah, that's a great point. Looking ahead, there's talk of more dragon weddings, and Ember shares his old oath to Flower that needs resolving, plus her desire for children. And the funny note about little wyverns, fire drakes, and sphinxes accidentally setting fires, which dragons could afford to pay for repairs because they're well off under Luke's decree. Eli even offers to be a godmother and a serious tiger mom. It shows a surprisingly domestic and humorous side to these powerful beings, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, adding another layer to their character and showing the future they envision within this kingdom. It's clear they're building something more than just a fighting force. They're building a family and a community.
Okay, so how does all this connect to the larger tapestry of the Draoithe Saga? We need to look at the unlikely king's prophecy from one of the sources. Nearly 1,000 years ago, Lucifer Leiriu, a king who had been benevolent, was driven by grief over his lost love, Erlia. He refused his former role, wove dark chaos magic spell, and turned madness loose in the dream.
That's intense. It is. His motivation is tragically clear. I will return to Erlia. He's willing to watch it all burn rather than live without her. This is a powerful, albeit destructive drive. This prophecy isn't just a list of fantastical elements. It's a blueprint for Lucifer's return and a potential cataclysm for the dream.
And the prophecy lists specific, intriguing elements needed for his return. The last lunar nagus, a kobold, and a thrall's son, plus the Vampire King's dream inverter will claim death. And the clock, we're told, is ticking.
So what does this all mean for the dream world? Well, the dragon's commitment to restoring magical balance, Eli's justice missions, and the overall saga's narrative. They're all part of this larger fight against the chaos unleashed by Lucifer. It's a grand quest not just to combat evil, but to found a stable, immortal kingdom that can withstand such devastating forces. Every small action, every bond forged, every wrong righted contributes to this massive overarching struggle.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've delved into a complex world where power, loyalty, and ancient prophecies intertwine. We've seen how Eli Miller, as the historian and Tire Queen, wields quiet power and earns the unwavering loyalty of even the most formidable creatures.
This raises an important question, I think. The dragons, despite their immense power, found true freedom and strength only when they embraced their bonds and their place within a collective. Their individual power was, in a way, completed for greater collective strength and self-fulfillment.
It makes you think about the true nature of power, doesn't it? Is true strength found in absolute independence, or is it in the right kind of connection and commitment, like the dragons with their Valkyries, or Eli with her pack?
Indeed. And the Saga hints that even a grief-maddened devil has a relatable, albeit destructive, motivation. It invites you to consider how personal desires, even love, can shake the fate of entire worlds, or how the simple act of making a house a home can have profound implications, as Lightning put it when discussing Miles Hansen. It's those small things sometimes.
Yeah. Whether you're navigating complex systems, building your own kingdom, or simply trying to understand the people around you, there's maybe a powerful lesson in how connection, understanding, and a clear sense of purpose can truly make you feel, well, invincible. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Draoithe Saga. We hope you'll explore more of this fascinating world and consider what kind of bond truly sets you free. Until next time.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for your support. For more, visit opheliakey.com. Welcome to the dream. Sincerely. Okay.